Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. We're going to look at ways you can protect yourself from heat-related injuries and illnesses.
A London-based manufacturing company is set to bring their North American hub to Neodesha, Kansas. I'm Zach Dodge with the details.
Another big blow to the cruise industry as the U.S. economy continues to reopen. I'm Steve Harrigan in Atlanta. That story ahead.
Doug Hetty is weather tonight. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 410.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Jordan Abbey. A Joplin man gets life in prison with the possibility of parole for killing his son's longtime girlfriend. Ricky Lamb pled guilty to second-degree murder back in April in the death of Sarah Tominski. Happened in June of 2019. The Newton County prosecutor says Lamb told authorities he went to his son's house to scare him over a custody dispute. Authorities say the man then exchanged gunfire and Lamb shot his son's girlfriend, Sarah Tominski. Lamb says he believed Tominski was going to get a weapon. Meteorologist Doug Hetty joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Another day, same old, same old.
Yeah, it's been getting slowly a little bit hotter all week long. Temperatures again for us today, mid-90s. We started at 73, average high is 87. The record is 100 set back in 1953. So still a pretty good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year. Not much going on. Most of us are seeing pretty much clear skies. There's been a few isolated storms kind of rotating around us. And then we got some tropical moisture. We're going to watch that will start to head in our direction, at least some of it, by the time we head into the weekend. But still very warm. Mid-80s right now. Our humidity is still high. We're going to see this sticking around the next few days, but we are going to get some relief. Look at that here in just a bit.
Doug Hetty, thank you. As those temperatures stay within the 90s this week, some may be heading to those pools to cool down. Sometimes enjoying those activities in the sun can go from fun, though, to dangerous pretty quick. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with an emergency doctor as well as a local parent to see about the importance of safety when outside in the heat.
As soon as you take a step outside, it's clear that summer is here. While the heat can lead to fun summer activities such as time at the pool, too much exposure can be risky, even dangerous.
You can start feeling symptoms within an hour in the heat that, you know, the greater than 90-degree heat with the high humidity. You can start feeling symptoms of lightheadedness and dizzy and things like that inside of an hour.
Among all the illnesses that can come from the heat, avoiding dehydration is key.
We can see heat-related injuries such as heat exhaustion, heat stroke, again from people not staying hydrated, in temperatures greater than 90 degrees and humidity levels being at what they are at 90 degrees, much more likely to dehydrate really quickly because you're sweating a lot, not realizing how much fluid you are losing.
One local mom who took her kids to the splash pad in Webb City to cool down has seen the negative effects of the heat on her own kids.
This summer, one of my children, it had just started turning warm. He wore a tank top and it was like one of the first days it got warm. He was outside for way too long and he ended up actually getting scars on his shoulder from his sunburn. His sunburn lasted for about a week and a half and it was terrible.
Dr. McDonald says sunburns can cause more pain than just discomfort.
Sunburns can cause you to have elevated body temperature, which can give you fever-like symptoms. They can actually progress to second degree where the skin is blistering.
While it's great to enjoy the sun now that it's more prevalent, it's important to do so in moderation. In Joplin and Webb City, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Dr. McDonald also says even when spending time in the water, like at the pool, you can still become dehydrated. So drink plenty of water and take frequent breaks. Also, can't forget about those pets during this heat, right? Keep a close eye on them. Don't let them be unintended, especially in a parked car. Groom your pets regularly, limit exercise, and watch for any symptoms of overheating.
You want to look for things like dizziness, disorientation, just excessive panting, bright red gums, uncontrollable shivering. That's another big thing.
Also avoid pavement when walking your dog. The hot ground can burn your pup's paws. A London-based manufacturing facility is bringing a location to Neodesha, Kansas. KOAM Zach Dodge has details on why this is a big deal for the small southeast Kansas town.
With a population of roughly 2,000, the close-knit community of Neodesha is just one of many that make up the American heartland. And in small towns, it often can mean slow growth.
It kind of seemed like things had paused.
But over the last year or two, momentum has picked up.
We've had several wonderful things happen.
The Neodesha Promise Scholarship is giving all students the ability to attend college. The city is working to address housing.
2 homes will go there.
A new police department is being built, and a whole lot more. But they say their most recent news is among the most exciting. SCOTUS Enterprises, a London-based company that manufactures recycled plastic composite railroad ties, is set to bring their North American hub to Neodesha.
It's a huge win for Neodesha. It's putting us on the map.
Over the next 5 years, it'll bring more than 130 jobs to the city. But there were some fears that the project may not happen. A big part of it came down to the need for a rail spur for the railroad.
We thought we had hit a wall with the rail spur, and not knowing much about that, we assumed the price was maybe $1 million or more.
A rail spur would connect the existing South Kansas and Oklahoma Railroad to the back of the building for product shipping and receiving. It wasn't until the Kansas Department of Transportation stepped in, offering a $343,000 grant, that the company fully committed to the town.
We felt that it was a good project to fund, especially with the promise of hopefully 135 jobs in the next 5 years.
SCOTUS has started renovating the Neodesha Plastics building with hopes of opening their operations this fall, making Hammerschmidt even more excited for the future in the small town.
It's very encouraging, the things that we have going on and that we have to offer. It's a great time to be in Neodesha.
In Neodesha, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Watka will be constructing the rail spur using that grant money from KDOT later this year. A small case study found a myocarditis-like illness following COVID-19 vaccination resolves in a matter of days. Federal health officials are examining a possible link between the vaccines and this very rare condition. Yesterday's report in the American Heart Association's journal Circulation suggests the condition may be temporary and straightforward to treat. Myocarditis, typically the result of a viral infection, causes inflammation in the wall of the heart muscle. It can weaken the heart and cause it to pump irregularly. As public health officials scramble to get a handle on the fast-spreading Delta variant of COVID-19, the cruise industry delayed its relaunch because of crew members testing positive. Fox News correspondent Steve Harrigan has more now from Atlanta.
I am thrilled to declare Disneyland Paris officially open.
More COVID reopenings in Europe, just a day ahead of an expected announcement from European regulators allowing Americans to visit again after more than a year of travel bans. It follows a global trend, more folks traveling as vaccination rates improve. But the cruise industry is still lagging behind. Royal Caribbean was scheduled to resume operations in early July, but announced Wednesday 8 crew members of the Odyssey of the Seas have tested positive for COVID, prompting a month-long delay. The infections came after the crew members got their vaccine shots, but before the antibodies were fully protecting them, underscoring the need for workers to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
This is why our partnership with employers is so important. We want them to do everything they can to help their staff get vaccinated.
And those vaccination numbers are slowly ticking up. About 75% of Americans over the age of 40 have now gotten at least one shot, allowing public health officials to shift focus, announcing a new $3.2 billion program to develop antiviral pills for COVID-19, saying the drugs could play a big role in treating COVID symptoms and help America prepare for more long-term threats from other possible pandemics in the future.
It aims to catalyze the development of new medicines to combat COVID-19 and importantly, to prepare for other pandemic threats.
The Odyssey of the Seas now scheduled to depart July 31st, a pushback of 4 weeks. In Atlanta, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9, and Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. James Allen served in the U.S. Army from 1967 to 1993. Native of Pittsburgh, Allen won the Army Commendation Medal, among other awards. But we are proud to thank James Allen. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Eddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast. After that, hot temperatures causing strained power grids and concerns of wildfires right there over some parts of the country. Going to hear about the situation out west in particular.
Definitely another hot and humid day for us today. Temperatures back up into the mid, some areas upper 90s during the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. We had a few little cumulus clouds out there during the afternoon. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Looks pretty good with those clear skies. Better temps up there again. They've been hot all week long. You can see most of us mid to upper 90s to near 100 degrees once you get out a little bit farther west on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Plus our humidity pretty high. Temperatures right now, they're still up there. 83 in Stockton, 84 in Anderson, 84 in Miami, 85 in Pittsburgh. Chanute sitting at about 85 degrees. But look at the humidity, especially on the Missouri side. You got dew points lower 70s, then upper 60s to near 70 degrees. So if you look at our tracker, this puts us kind of right at that muggy level. And that's where we're going to be for the next, well, 3 days. And then we'll start to see some changes. Looks good. We're almost at the longest day or longest daylight of the year on Sunday as the official beginning of summer, also Father's Day. Currently outside 84, it still feels like 90. Pressure is falling, humidity is at 65%. Pretty much clear skies. Not a lot going on here. We haven't had a lot going on all week. We've had a few isolated storms kind of rotate around us, but really, that's just about it. We're still dominated by this big dome of high pressure, but look how the jet stream's picking up. So this is breaking down this high. This is the beginnings of at least some relief by the time we head into early next week. Also, we can drop south. We got some tropical moisture. This is going to become a tropical storm, make landfall in the southeastern parts of the United States, but it also opens the gate to get some at least tropical moisture in our direction to help us get rain chances by the second half of the weekend. Tonight looks okay. We'll drop back lower 70, so near 70 by morning. Southwesterly winds 5 to 15, a little bit breezier for us tomorrow. Quick warm through the 70s, 80s, 90 by noon, high temp 96. So it gets hot, it gets humid. Once again, in fact, near 100 on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Then you got to look at our heat indices. I think a little bit hotter than what we saw today. Most of our heat indices about 102 to 105 degrees during the afternoon. But here come the changes. Saturday hot, Sunday hot, but a cold front slides in Sunday evening. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could pack a punch, so we'll watch that Sunday night. Showers left over into Monday morning, and then much nicer weather rolls in for about 2 or 3 days. We're going to be looking at highs into lower 80s, which is going to feel significantly cooler. 96 tomorrow, 95 Saturday, 95 on Sunday, and then a high of only 81 on Monday. We do warm up late next week with some thunderstorms again, but at least we'll get a few days of it feeling pretty good.
Yeah, really looking forward to that cool down you're talking about. All right, Doug, thanks so much. More than 40 million Americans are under heat wave watches and warnings, the weather breaking records across the West Coast in particular, and raising concerns the conditions could spark wildfires. Fox News national correspondent William LaJeunesse has more.
Millions across the West endure a record-breaking heat wave. A high-pressure dome or cap is trapping heat across the region, sending temperatures climbing into the triple digits.
We're used to dry, hot summers, normal, but not like all the way to 110 in June. That's new.
The National Weather Service says some cities could see temperatures 10 to 25 degrees above average. This week, Las Vegas hit 116, just 1 degree shy of its hottest temperature ever recorded. And in California's Death Valley, forecasters say outdoor activity could be life-threatening. The mercury there soared to 125 on Wednesday.
This is early to have this much of a heat wave. It's happened before, but it's not that common.
The record-breaking weather is straining power grids in California and Texas. Officials in both states ask customers to dial back electricity consumption to avoid blackouts.
Start thinking about things that you do that use a lot of electricity that you can move to different parts of the day. So maybe you're running your dishwasher later in the evening or earlier in the day.
And on top of the heat, severe drought, with conditions threatening to spark wildfires across the West. More than 30 large fires are already burning in 10 states, and some fear more could be on the way.
Seeing how fire has changed over the last several years and gotten into the communities more and into the tract homes more, everybody's on a heightened sense of alert.
The National Weather Service says these record-breaking temperatures could last through the weekend. In Los Angeles, William LaJeunesse, Fox News.
Coming up, a new recognition. The U.S. has a new federal holiday, Juneteenth, after it was signed into law by the president this afternoon. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has this report from Washington.
Many states have long celebrated Juneteenth. It commemorates June 19, 1865, when enslaved people in Texas learned they were free. The news made it to Texas more than 2 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation.
This holiday is for all of us.
The bill is passed.
On Wednesday, a bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday passed the House 415 to 14, one day after the Senate approved it. But there had been some initial objections. Senator Ron Johnson said in a statement, "Although I strongly support celebrating emancipation, I objected to the cost and lack of debate, putting the cost of an additional paid holiday for federal employees at $600 million a year." Johnson, however, ultimately dropped his objection.
We need to continue to make progress.
The vote comes nearly a year after Americans nationwide hit the streets to protest racial injustice following the killing of George Floyd. While debate continues over police reform, many say as for this bill, well, there should be no question about it.
It is not only a day of pride, it is also a day for us to reaffirm and rededicate ourselves to action.
Great nations don't ignore their most painful moments. They embrace them.
Juneteenth is the first federal holiday signed into law since MLK Day was created in 1983. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Just ahead, key rulings from the highest court.
The U.S. Supreme Court delivers two major rulings on Obamacare and religious freedom. I'm David Spunt in Washington. More on those cases coming up.
Peloton says it's fixed a security flaw allowing hackers to spy on users, even control their exercise machines. Security software company McAfee identified the problem linked to Peloton's Bike Plus and Tread Plus. Peloton has issued a mandatory software update to prevent hack attacks and urged members to log in and download it as soon as possible. The Supreme Court delivering two major rulings today concerning Obamacare and religious freedom, both cases being praised and criticized by Democrats and Republicans. Fox News correspondent David Spunt reports now from Washington.
A major victory for the future of the Affordable Care Act. On Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 7-2 against a legal challenge from 18 Republican states, arguing the law's individual mandate was unconstitutional because it no longer contained a financial penalty. The High Court did not address whether the mandate was unconstitutional or if the entire law should be invalidated, only that states that sued did not have standing to do so.
The Affordable Care Act endures as a pillar of American health and economic security alongside Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security.
In his dissent, Justice Samuel Alito wrote, "Today's decision is the third installment in our epic Affordable Care Act trilogy, and it follows the same pattern as installments 1 and 2. In all three episodes, with the Affordable Care Act facing a serious threat, the court has pulled off an improbable rescue." In another case, the court sided unanimously with a Catholic foster care agency involved in a dispute against the city of Philadelphia. The agency said its religious views prevented it from working with same-sex couples as foster parents. As a result, The city froze its contract with the agency. The court ruled Philadelphia's decision to do so violated the First Amendment.
This is a great non-discrimination ruling. What they're saying is you cannot discriminate against churches on the basis of their faith. This is a big victory for religious liberty.
The 9 justices have 15 rulings left to release this term. The next decision day is on Monday. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
The unique non-stop friendship between a man and a pigeon. I mean, they go everywhere together. More on this coming up.
If
you're looking to move overseas for cheap, what about Croatia? The Croatian town of Legrad is luring new residents by selling off homes for 1 kuna. That's about 16 cents. Okay, 16 cents. The fine print though? Yeah, there's always fine print, right? You must commit to calling the small town home for at least 15 years. And the homes themselves are kind of fixer-uppers. Oh my gosh, look at that. If you're willing to put down roots, yeah, fixer-uppers, that's an understatement. If you're willing to put down roots, town is going to throw in around $4,000 to renovate your new space. That's a fixer-upper, let me tell you. All right, an unlikely friendship in France. 80-year-old Xavier Bouguy, a retiree from the northwest part of the country, befriended a pigeon named Blanchon when it was a chick. Like that. The pair go for bicycle rides, water the garden together, and take time out for a little snack right there. Blanchon became Xavier's sidekick after he rescued the bird when it fell to the ground trying to escape from a cat. I mean, aw, right? Aw. But as for me, I'm going to stick with dogs. Birds are messy. Birds are messy. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Classic cars are here for some Third Thursday fun, but just as interesting as some of these classic vehicles are the people who get them up and running. And you're going to meet one coming up.
Also, a deadly virus outbreak could be the reason why dozens of chihuahuas right there are being dumped in the Branson area.
This cheesecake back up.
Today is the third Thursday of the month, which means Joplin's downtown was full of entertainment. Downtown Joplin Alliance hosts the event every third Thursday of the month from March through October. The event features local artisans, music, entertainment, and food.
I know that I'm not the only one. Everybody was kind of cooped up last year, so seeing everybody here with smiles on their face and being a part of the community and just enjoying the presence of other people is so good.
Joplin Chamber Young Professionals Network hosted the You Belong celebration at tonight's third Thursday. The celebration featured a solidarity walk to acknowledge the hard work of the community to be welcoming to everyone. Today's third Thursday also featured a real treat for classic car lovers when it hosted the 5th annual Route 66 Hot Rod Mayhem Car Show. KOAM's Mike Mahoney checked it out. Found out there's plenty of forsake classic car hobbyists who are just as interesting as their rides.
There was no shortage of cool cars at the 5th annual Route 66 Hot Rod Mayhem Car Show at Joplin's third Thursday celebration. And many of these classic rides had some cool stories and cool owners attached to them. This spruced up 1950 Chevy Deluxe may advertise Greenleaf Customs, but it's actually owned by Bernie Milligan, owner of Greenleaf Pest Control.
I didn't want to advertise because then people want to talk about pest control instead of the car. So I put Customs, Greenleaf Customs.
The Chevy Deluxe wouldn't be looking like $1 million if Bernie wasn't a guy who's passionate about classic cars and has been attending car shows for 40 years. But he says fixing it up wasn't really work.
It is a labor of love. Whenever you can turn a wrench on something and get something that doesn't work to work, that's kind of fun.
And Bernie says that's exactly what happened with his classic ride after he purchased it from someone who was letting the Chevy waste away in a Carthage field.
I bought the car in Carthage, got it home, and within an hour I got it started.
Bernie says he knew as a little kid that he was going to be a car guy, but what he didn't know was how much more he'd get out of his hobby.
It's really a bonus because it's nice to be around people that has the same interests. I mean, we all get together, we start talking about cars.
And what more could a gearhead ask for? In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The next third Thursday is going to be on July 15th in downtown Joplin from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Carnival is in town in Commerce, Oklahoma. Today is day 2 of Commerce Days. Good times. Some of today's events included The carnival rides, of course, arts and crafts vendors, and live music. The fun lasts until 11 tonight.
This is just not for commerce. I mean, everybody's invited to it. It doesn't matter if you're from Quapaw, Miami, Afton, wherever you're from. You know, if you want to come out and enjoy this, you know, you're more than welcome.
Commerce Days keeps going tomorrow and Saturday. Some of the future events include a karaoke contest, turtle and frog races, also a treasure hunt. The Rotary Club of Joplin hosted its annual Rotarian of the Year award presentation. The award recognizes someone who showed service above self. Rick Keller with Wells Fargo won this year's award.
I'm just very humbled because each and every person in our club, each and every Rotarian puts service above self. Each and every person does their own good for people. They do make a difference in people's lives, so I'm no different than anybody else in that respect, or don't do it any better.
Joplin Rotary Club has been around ever since 1916. The Neosho countryside is becoming even more beautiful. Sandra Conrad is painting 2 murals at a ranch on Old Scenic Drive. Today, she's working on a silo on the ranch. The property owner, Steve Roark, is excited about the work. Looks pretty good, too. Good job. We may now know why dozens of chihuahuas were dumped around the Branson area last week. It could be because of a parvo outbreak. As Liam Garrity shows, this is a deadly canine virus that's very expensive to treat.
Trapped in isolation, veterinarians think these 2 chihuahuas may be a few of the lucky ones.
We hope so.
These little guys are on the path to recovery, but others weren't as lucky. At least 2 of the abandoned dogs have died of parvo, and others are very sick.
They're still being found. As of today, I heard of more being sighted out there. So amazing that they're alive, but I suspect there's probably many that have not survived that we'll never know about.
Rescue One's president, Ellen Dowdy, says this could have been easily prevented.
The rescue community is ticked that, that they could have just contacted rescues, and even though rescues are full to the brim, everybody can make room for chihuahuas because they're little and they're easy and they're very adoptable.
One local vet says this virus isn't something to wait to treat.
It's very serious. It's something that we see most often in the summer months, especially there's a lot of puppies that are susceptible.
Puppies need to have a series of 4 shots to prevent parvo, but the chihuahuas who currently have it will get a series of 2 shots once they are well. Meanwhile, some of the abandoned dogs are already in adoptive homes, and since they're likely not vaccinated, owners need to be aware.
If the dog has the virus, take the pet to your veterinarian.
Still, this isn't over. The chihuahuas started popping up across the surrounding counties at the beginning of June, and more are still showing up. Dowdy thinks the previous owner may have known about the outbreak.
It takes about 3 to 10 days for that exposure to start showing up, and so it is very possible that they had an outbreak and got rid of all of the animals before they started dying.
All right, a bit later, enjoying the great outdoors. Going to hear about many summer camps trying to meet the demand this summer.
Well, it turned out to be hot and very humid once again for us today. Temperatures have been slowly creeping up all week long as we have been warming through the 90s, mid-90s for highs today. Plus, we had heat indices at about 102, 103 at times during the afternoon hours. Great time lapse though. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo's just outside or on the west side of Seneca, Missouri. All right, zooming in near 100 on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side in our farther western counties, and then low to mid 90s once you work a little bit farther east into southwestern Missouri, but still warm. It's 9:45 at night, 82 in Nevada, 83 in Anderson, Miami 82, Pitt 82, Yates Center is sitting also at 82 degrees, and our humidity has been creeping up. Our dew points kind of in that 70, 72 degree range, which puts us right around that muggy section on the scale. That's what we're going to see as we go through the next few days. Looks good. 7th and range line off toward the north and to the west, currently sitting at 84. Still a heat index near 90. Relative humidity is checking in at about 65%. But we do have pretty much clear skies. We had a few random little thunderstorms kind of rotate around us down through parts of Arkansas earlier today. These are all gone. Not much going on. We're still dominated by this huge ridge of high pressure, but here are the changes. See the jet stream picking up to the north? This is the beginnings of breaking this area of high pressure down. We want it to break down because once it breaks down, we cool down, which is always going to be nice. Also dropping south, we have tropical moisture. This will soon most likely be a tropical storm that heads up into the southeastern parts of the U.S. over about the next 24 to 36 hours and kind of opens that gate for us to get some tropical moisture. For us tonight, we drop back right around 70. So if you're getting up early, clear skies, 70, quick warm up through the 70s, 80s, 90 by noon, and a high temp right around 96 during the afternoon. Plus, on top of that, heat indices are going to be out there again. Our heat index is probably going to be about 102 to about 105 during the afternoon. So very hot, very humid. We'll see that for the next 3 days, including Saturday. Let's go into Sunday, still hot and humid, but a cold front slides in. This is by evening. Along the front, we'll start to get some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could pack a punch. Leftover showers into Monday morning. Here comes the cooler air. It's going to be cooler on Monday. It's going to be cooler on Tuesday. Then it will start to creep back up, get back to summer late next week, but at least we get a little bit of relief for a couple days. 96 tomorrow, 95 Saturday, 95 on Father's Day. Then cooling back down Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Again, as we were hearing about earlier, another day tomorrow to be careful when you're outside.
Yeah, you want to be careful, especially from like 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., the hottest part of the day.
Doug Heddy, thank you.
Yep.
Chinese spaceship carrying 3 astronauts docked with China's new space station today at the start of a 3-month mission. Astronauts are going to carry out experiments and test equipment on their space station, which is set for completion at the end of next year. Inching closer to an infrastructure deal.
Democrats and Republicans in the Senate getting closer to a possible bipartisan deal on a massive infrastructure package. But how do they go about paying for it? I'm Blake Berman at the White House with the story coming up.
At Johnson Floor and Home, we've got
A significant shift in infrastructure talks, with nearly a dozen Republicans pledging their support for a new bipartisan bill. It is enough to overcome a filibuster from more conservative members of their party. Some Democrats, however, may have other legislation in the pipeline. Fox Business senior Washington correspondent Blake Berman has more from the White House.
A potential bipartisan infrastructure package in the Senate gaining some momentum.
I just think everyone's just been respectful meetings. That's all I can tell you all. And it's been very bipartisan, respectful meetings, and the White House has been very, very receptive to these really respectful meetings.
11 Republican senators now say they're supportive of the possible framework for a deal, which calls for $975 billion of infrastructure spending over 5 years, $580 billion of that with new funds.
I now deem this infrastructure. I'm one of the 11 Republicans. I'm going to insist that we consider putting this piece of legislation in the infrastructure bill.
However, how to pay for it is still being negotiated. Any deal is likely to need a deep mix of both Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, as some Senate Democrats are calling for the bipartisan talks to end. They want Democrats to attempt to go at it alone with a multi-trillion-dollar package.
Discussions about infrastructure are moving forward along 2 tracks. One is bipartisan. The second deals with components of the American Jobs and Families Plan, which we will consider even if it lacks bipartisan support.
The House of Representatives would eventually have its say as well. The Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was up on Capitol Hill Thursday morning, meeting with a bipartisan group of House lawmakers. The final framework of that possible deal in the Senate is expected to be released early next week. At the White House, Blake Berman, Fox Business.
Back with more news after this. Another sign of the country reopening, enrollment for summer camps is booming. Fox Business Network's Jerry Willis is at a camp in Otis, Massachusetts with more.
After a year of cooped up kids and burnout parents, families are eager to get their kids back into summer camp. But if you want your child to get into summer camp, say one like this, in Otis, Massachusetts, well, you better hurry because the spots are going fast.
When we got the green light that camps were going to open, like the end of January, there was like an explosion and the floodgates just opened up. I think we did a year worth of recruiting in 4 months.
This high demand is a welcome change from last year, where, according to the American Camp Foundation, only 18% of stay-away camps and 60% of day camps were open. The association also estimates that more than $16 billion in revenue was lost at 15,000 camps due to pandemic closures. But the reopening is not coming without its setbacks. As the staff returns this week here at Lenox Camp to train for their grand reopening next Saturday, a counselor shortage could see the majority of camps operate below their normal threshold. There are about 26 million campers in America and not enough counselors to handle the surge. But it's all smiles here. Management and staff couldn't be happier than to welcome campers back for the summer. In Otis, Massachusetts, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Gonna go backstage for a special Father's Day Beat Shazam when we come back. All right, so you're at home, you have a widescreen television, but you may have noticed that some of the stories tonight are squished. They're not taking up the whole screen. Some stories are. They're not taking up the whole screen. It's technology on our part. Sometimes technology doesn't cooperate with us. We apologize. We're going to fix it. I promise. This week is a special Father's Day episode of Fox's Beat Shazam. We spoke with father-daughter duo Jamie and Corinne Fox about the show, working together, what they've learned from each other, and more. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Fox's Beat Shazam continues Thursday with Jamie and Corinne Fox leading the high-stakes game.
We're having fun, we're dancing, we're singing, and we're giving away big money, man. That'll change somebody's life.
In time for Father's Day, father-daughter teams will compete. Corinne says she's learned a lot about her dad these 4 seasons.
His dedication to the work, his energy he brings to set, I got to really understand the type of performer he is. I was so inspired by, this man has so much energy. I don't know how you do. He has more than me, and I'm 27.
Keep it on, Dad.
She also keeps me in check because, I get to going too fast and get to moving and shaking. She's like, Dad, yo, chill out.
Jamie has also learned a lot watching her work.
She gives good advice. She has great hunches, and that's what you look for. Beyond your daughter, you're like, okay, well, what if I wasn't around? What would her hunches be? And her hunches are great. And so that's what you need in this business.
And Corinne shared a special Father's Day shout out.
You've taught me the value of working very hard, but also enjoying life and being able to work hard and play hard and valuing, spending time with family and friends. And I think you have a really good balance of how you approach life. I'm still learning that from you.
Doing a great job, man. And you'll bust me up. I'll start crying on here now.
Give it up.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a new California sea lion pup over at the New York Aquarium. Cute little guy, huh? Yeah. Hey, man. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.